for Whispers from Eternity. And today is Thursday. I believe that's November 5th. So today's reading is number 165, 165. The fire of my ambition and all my rainbow dreams are focused on thee. The fire of ambition has been waxing strong, fed by the fuel of my evanescent rainbow dreams. As often as one dream faded away, a new one, as persistent as the last, burst open flower-like in my heart, only to wither and die. The lightning of disaster struck, consuming not once, but many times my garden of hopes, as flames destroyed even my very powers of renewal. My garden was once green with life, but as the gray ghosts of half-dead hopes and low vitality glided in, surrounded by dark doubts, I began to fear. Would they frighten me as, with timid footsteps, I turned at last to thee? Come to my aid, O divine friend. Give me the strength now to be ambitious only in my quest for thee. Well, this is a curious prayer demand. In many ways, now that I am 70 years old, hard to believe, isn't it? In many ways, this is describing a not uncommon progression of a singular journey through a single life, which is to say you start off filled with ambition and high hopes and all that, and then one by one these things fade away, and one is a bit bereft. And as I imagine anyway, many people or some people later in life get religion, turn to God. I'd like to think this prayer demand is more than just about that. It could be visualized, I suppose, or imagined as taking place through many lifetimes. I suspect it's a both and. There's a time and a season for all things, as it says in the Old Testament. And so there's a time for us to wax ambitious and hopeful and desirous of fulfillment, and a time when perhaps all of that crashes down amidst the crash of breaking worlds, and our eyes begin to open to seek a greater reality, a greater hope, inner peace, and so on. So in some ways, it's a little bit sad, but the prayer demand is basically focused on when we reach that point of, some might call it despair. When we do and we turn to God, it's a prayer for the strength to stay focused on our spiritual journey and not to be distracted, or I think more importantly, the prayer demand is not to be so despondent that we lack the energy and the enthusiasm, the determination, the perseverance to seek the only reality there is. Now here today, what did I say, November 5th, a couple of days after the United States so-called elections, we still don't know who won. We're seeing that the paralysis that we find at the national government level is simply going to continue no matter who's in the chair in the White House. And so I found myself this morning, well, not exactly despairing, because I don't really focus a lot of my life on politics, but wow. I think, ladies and gentlemen, we are being offered a golden opportunity to turn inward, not to turn away from the life around us, not to be useful to our fellows. I don't mean that exactly, but to understand what's really important, to prioritize. The whole COVID experience is giving millions of people an opportunity to think what's important. How important is my job, my status, my pay? How important is my family? How important is my health? How important is my spiritual well-being? Guess what, folks, ladies and gentlemen, hobos and tramps, cockeyed mosquitoes, and bow-legged ants? I remember learning that as an 8-year-old. Anybody remember that one? I think what's ahead of us is clearly indicated by the outcome of this election process, that we have much, much more paralysis to come. This is an opportunity to take things into our own hands. Now, some people turn that in a violent and political or demonstrative way, but of course, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about taking into our own hands our spiritual awakening, to realize that this world will never be perfect. It will never give us what we want, no matter, even if our choice of parties wins. It's just going to go on. And the impacts of what I see forward for us on a grander scale, a national or international scale, is not very hopeful. Okay? Where the hope lies, if you want to talk about things outward from ourselves, in the efforts of people to make changes in their lifestyle, to live with a climate change perspective, to be more compassionate in their local lives, all those things. But of course, whispers from eternity are whispers from eternity. And so I see this shift in our fortunes, as Americans especially, this shift in our fortunes and our native enthusiasm and goodwill that I think Americans do have, but right now it's clouded over with paralysis and conflict, and it's going to stay that way, folks, I think for quite a few years to come. I'm not pessimistic, I'm optimistic, because this gives us a chance to see what's real. Not those conspiracy theories that you just mull over and can't prove and just endlessly, do this, but about joy is within you. So let's take the opportunity of our outward challenges, as this prayer demand clearly offers to us, and go within. Go within with the same kind of ambition and enthusiasm and hope that we used to reserve for material success and recognition and friendships and that kind of thing. All those things have their place, mind you, but this is a time in history, personal and national and international, where the light of yoga, the light of spirit, is shining through the clouds and beckoning us to go within. The kingdom of heaven is within you. God bless, good luck, and see you soon. Okie dokie.